Thanks for inviting us. I'm Gegen from the International Youth Association, and I'm not that fluently in English, so I will have to stick to my notes a bit more than the others. I hope that's okay with everybody. We as the International Youth Association were active, involved in the Schulstreik movement in many cities, and we are really happy to share our experience here today. But before I am going to talk about the school strikes and how we organized them, I want to make a few remarks about the situation in Germany, or the German imperialism as a whole. We see in Germany, especially since the Russian attack on Ukraine in 2022, that German imperialism has tried to get with the times and started a massive campaign of militarization. And the key word Zeitenwende, which means turning point. In these years, against the background of sharpening of the inter-imperialist contradiction in the world, Germany is aiming to play a bigger and more independent role in the conflicts ahead and is arming for future wars. These preparations happen under the pretext of defense. But we see the real reason is the aim of German imperialism to strengthen its influence in the world and not be crushed between the other imperialist poles, mainly China and the United States. In the word of the Chancellor, Merz, Germany should become a leading power and the strongest conventional army in the EU. For this matter, Germany is using the imperialist project of the European Union for militarization, is spending billions and billions on the military, turning up propaganda and also introducing measures like the mandatory military service that we discuss later or today here. And this is the general context in which we view this attack on the youth. On December the 5th, Germany passed the so-called Military Service Modernization Act, which stipulates that all boys born in 2008 or later will receive a questionnaire regarding their fitness for military service and will undergo an nationwide physical examination starting next year. The debate over conscription not only serves the direct goal of increasing personnel numbers for the military, but also serves to keep the debate alive in order to ideologically convince young people of the supposed necessity of future wars and that these are in their best interest. This is crucial for German capital, as militarization still is relatively unpopular in Germany, partly due to its history. But the propaganda is already achieving success in the sense that that many people believe it is a matter of defense and that Germany has no choice but to defend them against Russia. With this, they have now managed to convince almost a majority of German population to support rearmament in recent years. But among young people, it's still different. And we see that currently 2/3 of the youth are still against military service. Many of them only because they want the freedom of choice, what to do after school. And not because a really convinced and firm stand, anti-militarist stance, but it is also quite spread the position just that the youth don't want to potentially die on the front lines in the next war. So this brought that many people don't want the military service in the youth gives us the opportunity to engage with really broad masses of young people in conversations about militarization and war and how the militarization affects them personally and also who profits from the militarization and who not, and to build a really broad resistance. And yeah, that's like the point where we started the movement, and on the December the 5th, the day the new military service law was passed, over 55,000 school students in more than 90 cities across Germany went on strike. And 3 months later, 2 weeks ago, I think, on March 5th, another 50,000 students in over 130 cities across Germany went on strike again. And the main slogans of the students were: the rich wants war, the youth wants a future, we won't fight their wars, and their wars without us. And now maybe I come back to the question, how exactly did we organize the school strikes? And first, regarding our approach, well, we think it's crucial to see the conscription, or the military conscription, as a part of the militarization in general, and agitate for a firm anti-militarist stance in general. The goal of the movement is to build the broadest possible movement where everyone can participate. Holding a truly anti-imperialist position is not yes, you don't have to have a firm anti-imperialist position for joining the movement, but for sure we want to agitate all of them for this anti-imperialist position. And we want to reach the whole youth against conscription. The key tool for this has been the organization inside of the schools in form of strike committees in each school. To build the movement, students are organizing at their schools and city-wide strike committees. That is, or we say that's the backbone of the movement, and it explains how it could be that successful, because we really organized inside of the schools. We see in the strikes that it truly is the schools where the students themselves organize in this form that mobilize a lot of students. And we see it as the first goal also of all youth organizations active in this movement, like us, now to strengthen this form of organization to give the movement more continuity. Students organize themselves within the schools because on the one hand, sorry, sorry, I forgot about the translation. Yes, I'm sorry. Students organize themselves within the schools because, on the one hand, schools play an important ideological role in preparing youth for the war, for a future war. And on the other hand, it is the place where they share the same problems and perspectives with all their classmates. In concrete terms, everyone, at least the boys, is directly affected by the new military service and the draft examinations. As a result, the school itself is the environment where we can expand the movement. In the schools, students form their committees and hold assemblies, specifically address all their classmates. They go through every classrooms, they introduce the movement, they call for the strike, and they inform and educate their classmates about this issue. Our organization, the International Youth Association, has published materials on how to form those committees in your own school and give background information on militarization in general, and our students played an active role in their schools. And after the first strike was a success, in this way we have been working a lot to give this movement continuity, and that does not end with the momentum of the new law. Between the two strikes, the movement held conference at both the national and the city level, where we engaged in deeper discussions better situate conscription within the broader political context, and collectively share practical tips and experience from the individual schools. We can see that all these efforts have been successful, as we were able to reach the same numbers, or almost the same numbers, in the second strike, despite a lot of repression from schools, and the successful second strike that was especially joined by younger students who give the movement a perspective. And regarding the question if this tool of strike is the only way, we see it as an important movement right now, but it's important to form ties to other questions and form of actions. Even within the questions of conscription, we do not limit the activity to the schools, but strive to make the protest against conscription a central issue among young workers and university students as well, and to involve the youth wings of the unions and students' councils in the protest. We have seen many cities where university students also showed their solidarity. In some universities, they even built strike committees as well. And the unions also have played a role in the mobilization in some cities. So to really struggle against militarization and imperialism today, we cannot limit ourselves to one tool. But the strike movement of the youth has a dynamic that is crucial in these times, so we try to strengthen this as much as possible. Thank you.